All right, what's good, SML? Welcome back to Stone Searching. Today I am joined by DW and Q. Apparently, Clink has more important things to do than hang out with us. But how are we doing today, boys?
Yo, yo, I'm glad to be here. Ready to go.
Yeah, man, ready to do this. Ready to do this.
Yes, sir. We got a couple topics to talk about. This one's going to be a little bit of a quick hitter today, but we did want to get something out before playoffs started. We got a couple gameplay topics. We got a little playoff talk, and of course, we'll finish off with Come On Man. But our first thing on the agenda here, the gameplay crackdown. We've seen a couple suspensions. We've seen a dev game removed. One of the goons in this group here had some players suspended earlier this season. What are our thoughts on the gameplay crackdown, the suspensions? How do you feel about it? What's going through your head? We'll start with you, DW, for no reason in
Yeah,
particular.
well, yeah, because I'm the main target here. Well, I am guilty. I am guilty of Prime's beat down with the suspensions. What I will say about it is I actually love the suspensions. I'm glad that we're cracking down on this stuff. I mean, it needs to happen. I mean, we're a sim league. We should be playing to sim standards. Um, I happen to fall into it not on purpose. um, I mean, that the game versus Fazz, we were going back and forth the whole time, and the only thing that I could do against Fazz was run the ball. And here we are going into the fourth quarter, and I never even thought of my ratios once. Like, I wasn't in there the whole time going, oh, I'm just going to give it to Cream Hunt 400 times, let him run. That wasn't not at all the purpose. It was just how I was playing. And I broke a rule, and I took my suspensions, and I mean, luckily, I won with my suspension that I had. I got lucky that week, so I love these suspensions. I say we give out more, and I love that more guys are watching the stream, so therefore more guys are reporting stuff. I mean, let's clean this league up. So that's my take on it.
There you go, DW swinging the hammer. Love it. Q, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as DW. I think that really, if we are a sim league and we do have a standard that we're trying to set, and we have had a lot of turnover as well. That's the thing. I know we've gotten so much turnover lately that um, it's kind of easy to see or kind of easy to pinpoint a little bit more things that are looking like violations, such as like there's some unwritten rules that we're starting to do with guys are blitzing in, user blitzing, things like that. I think with the turnover that we're having, um, it's just it. I like it. I like it. Just like DW said, I could even say I'll go as far as to say I love it. I love the suspensions. It puts people on notice. Even myself, I'm not gonna bring up what I did, but it was put in the main chat, and I had a private discussion with Prime about it, and he corrected me, and it is what it was. So I do enjoy it. I do think it keeps everybody honest, and I do want to keep the integrity of the league number one, because that's what it's all about. The integrity of the league is, I think, what everybody does value, because that's what makes this so special.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the accountability is good. I think it's good to have people watching your streams. I think it's good to have people call you out. I know I've been in games, and somebody said, "Hey, I don't think you can do that," and it's like, oh, I appreciate it, because a lot of times, again, like you said, DW, this is not malicious. I don't think we have really pretty much anybody in this league that is going to compromise gameplay to win. A lot of times violations you see will kind of be on accident, or you're not really thinking about it. You're caught up in the moment, and you break stuff. But I think it's good to have eyes on. I think it's good to again, just hold each other accountable. And I don't have an issue with the suspensions. The one thing that I did like the most, I think, was the breakout game, because I've noticed in almost every other league I've played, as soon as breakout games are in the picture, all the rules just seem to just go straight out the window. Anything's game. The spam is real. The ball is getting forced to whoever it needs to be. Everything just goes to crap for breakout games. So I was happy to see the crackdown on that and know that won't be tolerated. If you can get them good, but you got to get them legit. So I think that was good. Our second topic is going to be a bit of an extension on that, and this one I've entitled Rollout Gate. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the rollouts. It's earlier in the game they were impossible to stop. They're still pretty difficult. It's gotten a little better, but still difficult. If you go into any stream that Bomber is commentating, he's going to comment about the rollout. If you even look outside the pocket, you don't necessarily have to get there. If you just look at it, he's ready to berate you. So what are our thoughts on the rollout? We'll start with Q. You think they're as bad as everyone says?
So this is a little bit of a yes and no for me. I don't think they're as bad as everyone says if people know how to play the right way. I think that if you play with a mindset that you don't want to abuse the gameplay, when what I mean by that is calling hike, making your one read to the drag or the slant, and if it's not there, immediately rolling out. I think that that is abusive, and I think that it is as bad as everyone says when it gets to that point, because you don't want to have to focus on that. You don't want to have to focus on having to play a contain against everybody that's not Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Mahomes, guys with escape artists. You shouldn't have to worry about the having to contain quarterbacks that don't have escape artists that much. But at the same time, you see that it's slowly progressing. Like I think somebody said recently in a podcast that when you're rolling out, now the AI is actually cut you off a little bit better with the pursuit angles. Wish we could throw that fast pursuit angle voiceover in there. Yeah. So you see that a little bit more now. And originally in the beginning, before the patch, I think you would roll out and you had 15 with nobody near you every single time, even with a guy like a Justin Herbert or Jared Goff or anybody like that. So I think that if you monetize it and you pay attention to how you roll out, if really there's nothing there and your pocket feels like it's collapsing, or if you went through 3 reads and there's 2, 3, 4 seconds that have gone by, then that's different. And I think that that's where we kind of want to be as a league. Probably, I imagine we're not abusing the rollouts when it's not needed.
Yep, absolutely. DW, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with Q here. To use an example, I was talking about this with you before we started recording. I played Rice today in Primer, and he's got Russell Wilson, and I kept having to contain all game because that's what you have to do against these guys like this. But he was not abusing it at all. But I even made the comment once because as soon as my guys would come to him, his little X would light up and he would just take off. And I have no problem if you're running away from a sack, but my issue are rollouts to like beat the AI to make sure guys don't chase on their zones or whatever. That's when I have a problem with the rollouts, and I think that's what Bomber has a problem with the rollouts too, for the most part. They are bad. I mean, it's no joke with this game. When you roll out, if you stay out of the pocket, somebody's going to get open eventually. It's just the zones still. I guess they've been patched somewhat, but I mean, I know for a fact that I played field early this year and I was called out for rolling out too much, so I brought back in a little bit because I don't have one of those guys that can roll out a lot. I mean, I take that back. That don't have what do you call that? What's that X factor?
Escape artist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that, and I feel like I abused it against him, and I've called it back, and then I made sure I stopped doing it. But I'm also guilty of drifting, and drifting to me is not rolling out, but that can also cause the same issue. So I definitely think that we should stay cracked down on it, and I do think it's a problem.
Yeah, see, I don't have much of an issue with drifting. I think drifting is pretty natural. I think a lot of drifting just comes to, mental clock. You just, that pressure is going to get there eventually, and you just don't want to be standing there like a sitting duck. I'm definitely half and half of the rollouts, because for me, like Q pointed out, they are much better now than they were to start the game. To start the game, it was ugly. Like, it looked like we were going to be in a bad spot. They've done a good job. I do have to give EA credit on that. Contains are much, much better. I even had a play. I think I was playing Bean as well, but I was on offense and I went to run away and I had nothing. Even with Escape Artist, Contains had me totally bagged. I had nowhere to go, and I took like a 15-yard sack. It was pretty crazy. So the game's getting better at it, and I think it's something you can tell when it's malicious. Like, when somebody is rolling out specifically to manipulate coverage. And those, obviously there's no place for that. But my thing is that as we watch the NFL evolve in real life, quarterbacks are on the move much more often. You have a lot more designed rollout plays, which the game has accounted for. I mean, if you want to see just a prime example, watch any quarterback that plays against Jacksonville. My goodness, that team cannot close the deal on the sack. It's amazing. They get back there, they're quarterbacks running around. It looks like you're going to get a sack. Sure enough, it's like a 25-yard completion. They do it every week. It's crazy. So that's a part of the game. I think it's easy to tell when it's malicious. I don't think it's a problem in our league from what I've seen really. It's something to keep a close eye on, because again, it is something that's easy to abuse, like you guys have said. But I don't think we're necessarily at a problem area with it. And my follow-up to this question is, I've seen this in chat a couple times. I believe it's Matt who says he pretty much refuses to throw a pass after he rolls out. He will just throw the ball away, regardless of what the field looks like. And I think Finns said something similar. He doesn't feel good about it. He might have said that in a stream. What are your guys' thoughts on throwing passes after you roll out? Either one you can start. I don't care.
Go ahead, DW.
I think it's okay. But I think it's okay if it's like once or twice a game, as long as it's not like a repeated effort. I mean, I know that we just had a huge fight this week about this I believe that was part of the tiny argument and all that happened. I just think it needs to be controlled. I just don't think you can do it every single time. I think then it becomes cheesy.
For sure,
Yeah, I think it depends on I think it really depends on the context of the play. I really say, because if you have a play action and it's a designed rollout, it's your guys are already automatically going to have that motion where he's kind of doing that animation where he's like a light jog. But I would say if you're rolling out, because again, if you're rolling out and the pocket's collapsed on you and the guy is chasing you, 3 yards behind you, and you make a throw on the run rolling out, I think that's perfectly fine and legal. I think that is. I'm not going to try to insult anybody, but I think it's just a little bit, you don't have to take it to that extreme, where if you roll out and you have a guy open, it's like, I'm going to throw it out of bounds because this just doesn't feel, right. So I would say it depends on the play. If you have no pressure when you're standing in the pocket, standing still, I would say make the throw in the pocket. Don't roll out. And those are the plays. Yeah, I would just probably roll out to just get the 6 yards and get out of bounds instead of just throwing the ball. So I think it depends on the context, but I will definitely, if I'm getting chased by a guy, I'm going to definitely throw it while I'm rolling out. So sorry in advance to people who don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is going to get us labeled as straight cheesers. We'll see.
So I was afraid of that.
If none of us are in the league next week, you know what happened. But yeah, no, I really don't have an issue with it. You see throwing the runs pretty much all the time in the NFL now. Quarterbacks are practicing it. Quarterbacks are getting good at it. Mahomes doesn't even look at who he's throwing to. So this is pretty standard stuff in today's NFL. So I don't think you need to be throwing the ball. I don't think they're that broken that you need to roll out and just not throw it to your guy who has 20 yards of separation. So yeah, just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. Will be interesting to see how it's monitored as we go forward. But anyway, let's take a look at a little playoff talk here. This is a segment we're gonna call this buy or sell. Basically, I'm gonna throw these couple questions at you guys. You're gonna tell me whether you buy or sell the statement. This is gonna be playoff focused. We're gonna start in the NFC here. Obviously, Dump, hotly contested playoff performer, and not great in Madden 21. Much has been discussed on that. Buy or sell, Dump makes it to the NFC Championship game at least.
Buy.
I'm definitely buying.
Definitely buying. So we absolutely think Dump is in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I do. I think the schedule, based on how the seeding played out, I do.
I think that, and I think that he's got an easier path to that game this year than in the past. But never mind. Now that I'm thinking about that, because you got Paulie and you got QP in there. I don't know. I got faith in Dump this year. He's been playing. I mean, I've been watching a lot of his streams. He's been playing lots out. I'm all in on Dump.
Yeah, looking at the seedings, and I know Daddy Leagues is not fully accurate. I know they still have Noel in there, who I believe missed with the Dump win the other night. I believe that's D-Muse at the 7 seed. No matter what, he is going to end up seeing. Well, it looks like he would avoid Paulie. I think Q, you would end up with Paulie. So yeah, I think it is definitely possible here. Looking at this, I would have to buy as well. I've been pretty high on Dump this season. Obviously, his roster season 1 is pretty loaded. I would say second best in the NFC, only to Paulie's Bucks. So yeah, I think I can get on board with you guys. You guys buying Dump. I think I'm all in. We'll jump similar question in the AFC. This one though was going to be talking about our boy the Mad Bomber, the SML Network guru. Similar story. Prime obviously had the narratives in Madden 21. We're gonna set the bar a little different though, because this is the AFC we're talking about. No offense, Q.
None
But
taken.
buy or sell, Bomber makes it past the second round.
I'm buying, 100%.
Who does he play in the first round?
I think that remains to be seen. I think there's a
Who?
chance that it would be Dan, and I think
Okay.
there's a chance that it would be the Raiders, and I think
Is he the 2 seed?
he is the 2 seed. Yep.
And who's the fourth and fifth? Or I mean, who's
Well,
the
hold
third
on,
seed?
because
Prime?
if Dan wins, then I'm in. I think is that seed. I might be playing Bomber then, right?
Right. So I think if Dan wins, I think it's DW. I think if Dan loses, it might be Dan. I don't
My
know
answer is going to
exactly
stay
how.
the same
Okay, let's hear
for
it.
me personally. My answer is going to say sell. I'm going to sell that he does get put out in the first 2 rounds. I think that he's in a headspace right now, probably where he doesn't want to be if he's wanting to compete for a Simbardi, just because he's really not invested in the game itself. He's looking for a little bit more ways through the game and through content through the league to kind of motivate him right now. So that's the reason I'm selling his talent, his team. That's not the reason I'm selling. It's more so his headspace right now. He just doesn't seem that invested, and there's some guys that are itching to knock him off because he's obviously regarded as one of the top guys.
Hmm.
See, I'm going to disagree with that because we all know the history of Bomber. Every season he has a 2 or 3 game, little thing there where he falls off a little
Yep.
bit and then he picks it right back up. Dude,
True.
he's got the best team in this game. I mean, I think if he doesn't win 2 games, or at least 2 games, this season's a total disappointment for Bomber because that's a win now team. They are completely set up. He barely has to do anything there, and he's a great player. Let's not forget the first 9 or 10-0 before, or 11-0.
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was.
in
It
dominant
was a
fashion
lot,
too.
yeah, and
Yep.
yeah, not even close games really.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
And let's be honest, Bomber owns me. I've never beat him in any Madden. So if he plays me first round, and that's a definite win. Dan, I don't know what is. Do we know what their record is against each other in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, I believe Dan has owned him. I know this Madden, Bombers up 1-0 already from earlier in the season, but I believe in the last Madden, I think Bomber could always beat Prime and couldn't beat Dan.
Yeah, I personally, I've got Bomber in the championship game here in the AFC. I think he's going to be there. That team is way too good. Nick Chubb is unstoppable.
So does he put out Prime in the second round? Is what you're saying?
Yeah,
It looks like as of right now,
that.
they're okay.
I'm going
You
to
hear
call
that,
that.
Prime?
Ooh, there you go. Prime's
I like
gonna
it.
be ready. He's gonna have the sound clipped and everything.
He definitely is going to have that clip.
Yeah, so we've got Q selling, we've got DW buying. I personally am going to be selling as well. I think no matter what, he's going to end up facing Dan or Prime in one of the 2 games, and I think one of those 2 guys knocks him off. I just think right now it's just a bad time to go into that sputter. If he started out cold and then started to get hot, but right now I think his defense is struggling a little bit. Obviously, Chubb is near unstoppable, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be enough against, say he gets Prime in the second round. If he's struggling on defense, that's not the team you want to play in the second round. That's for sure. So we got 2 selling, we got 1 buying. The next question here is going to be the Weenie Hut Junior divisions. We've got the AFC South. We've got the NFC East. Much has been made about the 7-10 team that will be in the AFC playoffs. We do have, I believe, 10-7 in the NFC East. Thank the Lord. But buy or sell, one member of these divisions, either one, wins 1 playoff game.
I'll let you go first, QP.
Who does NYT play?
I believe it's Future. Potentially Clink, but I think it's Future.
I am going to sell. I'm going to sell, unfortunately. I kind of would like to see NYT win just because it would be nice to see the NFC East, somebody come out of there. But if it's Future, it's a tough game. Future's a tough guy this year.
Yeah.
He can beat anybody in the league. He beat Pauly. And then, of course, Clink as well. Clink, if he's on, he's on. And his defense is really good. And if he could limit his turnovers, it's very tough to beat. And then on the other side, I think the other guy, it's Coop playing Meats, right?
Yes. Yeah, I believe that one is set in stone.
Yeah, I know they had a really close game when they played in the regular season, but I think that Meats is going to make a little bit more of a statement. I think Coop has been kind of gone as well. Like he's He was on vacation recently, so he might be rusty. Who knows? He might be fresh. Well, we don't know yet, but I'm gonna have to sell.
So, is the question: are one of those guys going to win, or both of those guys going to win?
Either one. Does either one of them get a win?
I'm buying. I think NYT is going to win one, and I would love to see Coop knock off Meats only because Meats beat me twice in the season. But that's it. And Coop's also my boy.
Hashtag
I'm gonna buy her. I'm buying here. I think Coop is gonna pull an upset here.
That'd be crazy. That'd be sweet. Just on the simple fact that it'd make some noise for the league, and it's always good to have some chaos.
Oh, absolutely. That would be
positive
hilarious.
chaos. Positive chaos. Yeah, positive
sure.
chaos.
We've had plenty of negative chaos. Ooh.
Yeah, let me just make that clear.
Yeah, definitely positive chaos in that one. That would be a blast. I think I'm gonna also buy, but I think it's gonna be out of the NFC. I think I can see Future getting upset by NYT. All it takes is a good Jordan Love game. Obviously, Jordan Love can come out and throw 4 picks on 2 attempts. He's that bad. But yeah, I think. Go on.
Dare I say, bad weather game. The bad weather game can make a lot happen, and I know that Future is a passer more than a runner, and sometimes in those weather games, it makes you have to play a little bit different.
Yeah, it's true. I think the upset might come out of the NFC, but I certainly would love to see Coop win, just for the fact that it would be hilarious, because I actually don't know that he even wants to be in the playoffs. So for that reason and that reason only, it would be hilarious. But anyway, as we're starting to run out of time here before Q has to go to work, real quick, let's hit a little come on man as we wrap up our show. I'll start us off. My come on man is going to be just in general the SML. Too much turnover, boys. Too much. I don't know what's up. This is different. I've never seen anything like it. This might be more turnover in one season than I've seen in almost any other league, which is not the SML way. Very unlike us. Obviously, a couple of these reasons. RD obviously gets a pass. Family stuff coming up. KJ maybe gets a pass. I don't really know what was up with that little week there. But otherwise, too much turnover. Let's kind of rein it in. We've seen a lot of tweets considering selling the team, considering retirement. Let's take it back in. Let's relax. We know what it is when we buy Madden every year. Let's take a breath, settle down, and let's ride this one out. And obviously, continue being the community that we all play this game for. So until then, come on, man. Too much turnover. Let's rein it back in.
Yeah, I 1000% stamp that as well. My come on, man. Sadly, it's going to be my guy Noel, the Seahawks. He started out like 9-3 or 10-4, and we were talking about this is Noel. He's back again after that last cycle that we want to forget about. He came out hot. There was a chance that it was looking like if obviously Dump stayed strong the entire season, but if Dump had slipped a couple games, there was a chance it could have got interesting at the end of the season. But sadly, Noel kind of went back to his last cycles, and he dropped like the last 4 or 5 games. I know he had Future 20-0 at one point in the game that they played, and he ended up losing that one. And then he played me close, and then ended up losing that one by a bigger margin. So my come on man is Noel. He was right there at the playoff spot, and he lost it at the last second, and that definitely sucks. So hate to see it.
And to finish this off, my come on man is myself. Just like Noel. Just like Noel. Noel started out hot this year. I started out extremely hot. The last, 10 games has not been fun at all for me. But last week I played Pauly, and it was just a total embarrassment on my part. I could not do anything. Any play I called, he knew exactly where I was going. He doesn't give himself enough credit. He's a great damn player.
Yeah.
And I just could not do a single thing. I mean, I think I only he was just dink, 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 and then bomb. But I'm not calling him out for being cheesy like that. It was just his offense is extremely hard to stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he had the ball the whole game. I think I got to call maybe 20 total plays the whole game. It was rough. I didn't score. I had some really ugly picks. He's really good with using White. The middle linebacker, his lurk is just incredible.
Yeah.
And I just completely dropped the ball. I didn't prepare for Pauly at all. I should have. I didn't look at any of his games. I should have.
That's where he gets you.
And for me, that I am my come on man this week, unfortunately. So yeah.
Well, you hate to see that, but you know what? You live and you learn. Next time
Yeah.
you play Paulie, you'll be much more prepared. But that's all we got for you this week, boys. Thanks for tuning in. Excited for playoffs. Get those SML fantasy football lineups in. DWQ, thanks for joining me, and we will see you next time.